What's up, guys? We're back with another player guide. Today's player is going to be Villager. Villager is primarily a zoning and projectile based character, and he's from Smash 4. He was kind of considered middle of the road to me in Smash 4. I played him a lot, but I haven't really played him much in Ultimate, but he's still a pretty decent character. I wouldn't really consider him super high tier or anything like that, just kind of a fun, goof around kind of character. But in this video, we're going to cover everything from his just moves, to his neutral, to even combos. In fact, I'm going to leave the timestamp for the combos, just in case you guys came here for the combos. Hopefully that'll be in the video like right now. But basically we're just going to cover everything that Villager can do. So let's start off with just his neutral stuff, basically all of his groundwork. We're going to go for his jab first. So unlike in Smash 4, Villager's jab has a finishing point to this time. So that means the last hit will basically have considerable more knockback. So we got the jab going and the knockback. When you have someone on the edge, you can actually pressure them pretty well with that by keeping them strapped. You can usually get about 15 to 16 hits in. Doesn't do very much damage, but it is a considerable, so 21's not really a shabby jab, that's pretty good to me. It is a frame 3 jab, meaning it will come out much quicker than most moves like it, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, we're going to go into his tilts, starting with his forward tilt. It's just kind of, like his forward tilt's nothing too crazy. 10 damage, nothing, it's not really a kill option either. It's just one of your kind of like quick get off me options. As well as his up tilt being kind of like another option. It is good for if someone's coming down on you. You can kind of juggle them back into the air. If you want to keep them in the air, it's another good option. It's got very, very awkward hitboxes on it though. And then last but not least, we're going to cover his down tilt. Now his down tilt is deceptive, meaning that it looks like it's going to hit in front of you, and if you actually do manage to get it right on somebody, it does, considerable damage. 14 is nothing to laugh at. But if you kind of have a little more range on them, maybe around this much, it'll still hit, just with less damage and less knockback. But it doesn't really combo into anything very well, and it can be a kill option, but only very late. Villager's dash attack is fairly slow and pretty easy to read, but it does have an interesting property because there is actually a projectile in the middle of the dash attack. So not only can you run up on somebody and basically hit them with it, which is, 12 damage is nothing bad, but you can actually kind of stop short and throw it, and it's only 7.2, but you kind of spaced it properly, or at least a little better than you might be able to. Not only is Villager's dash attack a projectile that you can kind of space out, it's also a very good edge guarding tool, so if someone's trying to recover on the stage, you can actually run up dash attack, and the pot might be able to actually connect them and possibly gimp them, or I don't think it'll really kill, but you're pretty much hoping for a gimp, or at least a setup for something else. And that will usually lead into your smash attacks, because one of your smash attacks is bowling ball, which is a crazy good move in my opinion. Like it's pretty crazy on shield, does a lot of shield damage. It does a projectile, so it can be reflected, so be very careful if you're facing characters like Fox or Falco, because they can launch it back at you. But not only does it cover below you, but it kills insanely early and does incredible damage and knockback. Let me see if I can catch it here. I believe it kills around 60. Let's check that out really quick. Maybe it's 70. I'm hoping it's 60 though. Let's see if we're getting him on the stage, on the edge of the stage. Full power. Yep, it'll easily kill at 60. Very, very scary smash attack. Next one we're going to talk about is his up smash. Up smash is good because it covers so much of Villager's, like his body basically. So it starts off in front of him, but it actually covers above him and a little bit to the left and right. So you can put that up really quickly. It's also kind of fast, which is another good reason to want to use it. You can basically start it up at frame 12. And it connects into multi-hits. This is a good tool for leading in the combos. You can actually do an up smash into up air. Pretty nice. Depending on the turnips you get, it's also more damage. And then the last smash attack is the shovel, which is one of his better options to me. It also is his fastest of his smash attacks. Basically, shovel is good for two things. It's good for burying, which you can then, throw one ball and do extra damage, hopefully go for the kill. Or if your opponent is getting very, very roll happy, you can actually predict the roll by going shovel and hopefully catching them on the background and smash attacking them that way. So very good move. I really enjoy hitting it on people. People do not like getting buried in this game, but it's going to happen. Next, we're going to talk about Villager's aerials, and Villager, in my opinion, has some of the best aerials in the game, mainly because of how well they can space and how quickly they come out and how easily they can kill. So let's talk about Villager's basically get out of jail free card, which is his neutral aid. Now the reason I call it the get out of jail free card is because it comes out at frame 3, meaning it is possibly, it is actually his best option out of shield. So if someone's doing a lot of shield pressure, you can just pop out and drift away, or if they shield this, you can pop out and drift back, basically cross up their shield. Very good option. Not only does it about 9 damage, but sometimes that's all you need to actually get a combo going or to kind of get off your opponent. Basically, you can just reset and punish with your other aerials, which are your forward air and neutral air, some of the best tools you have as Villager. Now, forward air comes out a little bit faster than your back air, but they basically look the same. Let's see if I can actually hit that. But back air is a little bit stronger. So if you're going for damage, I assume you want back air, and if you're going for just speed and kind of comboing ability, I think that your forward air is the way to go. And there's a ton of different combos you can do with these. A thing to know is the closer you get to somebody with these, the more damage and knockback you will do. So let's say if you're with Villager at this distance, you're probably going to get about 4 on the head. That's but if you get pretty close to them, damage and knockback is drastically increased to 7, and I believe that is stale, so it should be a little bit higher than that, if not around that area. So that's his forward air and back air, and then we're going to talk about his up and down airs, which are also pretty good, but they have one drawback, and that is that they're kind of based on a random system. So if you look carefully, this is his down air. It had about 2 or 3 turnips, I believe, but you can end up getting just one like you saw there. Now the turnip number I believe is random. However, the more turnips you have, the more damage you can do and the more knockback you will be given. So hopefully if you're going to go for like a spike or you're trying to get someone in the air, you can end up with 3 instead of 1 or 2 because you will deal the more damage that way. And as I said before though, those are spikes, so if you're trying to be kind of saucy and go for a spike, by all means, Villager's a good character to go for that with. Alright, next we're going to talk about Villager's grabs, and they're all kind of lackluster, they're all kind of slow. One does have the potential to kill, and one is actually a combo setup, so they are kind of useful in some scenarios. First off, up throw doesn't really give you much to work with. I guess you can put them ahead of you and juggle, but that's not one of your kill throws. Forward throw, again, isn't a very great move, but it does put your opponent off the ledge, which you can then punish them accordingly, hopefully. But your back air is actually a considerably strong throw. I believe it kills around maybe 120 or 130. Let's check it out really quick, though. I'm not too sure. I feel like 120 is the way to go. Pretty close to 120. Let's set it to 130. I think that Samus would have lived that. Let's try one more time. Yeah, 130 to be more accurate. Maybe 125 at lowest, but it can be a kill option, so keep that in mind. But primarily it's Villager's down throw you're going to want to use, because this is the one that you can do a ton of good combos with because of the angle you send the opponent. And we'll get more into that later in the video with our combo tutorial. Let's discuss some of Villager's neutral specials, or just specials in general, along with neutral special. So Villager has some very interesting special moves. We'll start off with his pocket ability, which allows him to not only keep the projectile and basically stop it from hitting him, but store it and save it for later within the battle. We're going to use Samus for our example, which is why I chose Samus. You can actually pocket it and send it right back, dealing a lot more damage basically. More often than not, if the opponent isn't careful, a pocketed move that can be sent back has a very high chance of killing somebody. So when you're playing against a Villager, or when you are Villager, keep in mind if you're playing a projectile based character or against one, watch out for pocket. Definitely a scary option that Villager has. Next thing we're going to talk about is Villager's, let's go with up special. So up special is very versatile. I believe it's probably one of the best ones in the game, considering how high Villager can actually recover with it. In fact, it's almost impossible to gimp a Villager unless you pop the balloons that are going to be on his back, as you can see right here. The balloons do fade away after a while. He can die by that, but other than that, the only other way to get rid of them is to pop them, and that is by striking them. But Villager has no problem recovering. You're just pretty much going to mash B when you're in the air, and you'll have no problem reaching the stage. It's very difficult to die early with Villager if you have balloons, because you're probably not going to get gimped. Unless, of course, you get comboed to death, in which case that can't be helped. So the next move we're going to talk about is the Lloyd Rocket. Now this thing is very interesting. This is one of your like other go-to moves besides your forward air. You're going to be going for Lloyd Rocket with your forward air in tandem. So what this does is it's a little slow rocket that will approach your opponent and do kind of a little bit of damage, but it adds pressure for you to do more options in the future. And if you mix it up with your forward air or back air, you can basically cover the air and the ground at the same time, which is pretty useful. Not only that, you can ride the Lloyd Rocket to the stage, so if you don't want to use your balloons, you can just ride it back. And if it connects with somebody, as you ride it, it does a lot more damage, whereas if you just send it by itself, it's kind of minor. And then the last move we're going to talk about is the down B, which I personally love. I've always loved this move. So down B can pretty much get you multiple different things. This is the initial down B. It's planting the plant. Then you get water, which you can push your opponent back to edge guard them if you want, or you can grow the tree. Now the tree is up, and you have the axe. The axe does a good deal of damage and has a good deal of knockback on it. Or you can cut down the tree and have the tree fall on somebody and easily kill your opponent, but the tree can or will eventually fade away, so keep that in mind. It will not stay up forever, and your opponent can hit the tree to force it to disappear. But the tree is a very good option for pressuring shields. If your opponent is holding shield, you can just grow the tree on top of them and it most likely will break shield. And the tree has no problem actually killing. I believe it kills as early as 65 or 70 from right here, I believe. Let me just check it out though. Let's plant one more tree here. I believe 65 is more than enough. Very, very powerful weapon. Yeah. Incredible knockback, 30 damage, no problem. It's also a very good edge guard tool, so if you don't want to use the bowling ball, maybe you do want to use the bowling ball, but you also want to use the tree, by all means, go for it. It probably will kill the opponent. Now, it is a projectile, so the same thing that the bowling ball has, if it can be reflected, watch out, it might, and it probably will kill you in one hit if it does. Or, if you're playing another villager, that villager can pocket your tree and send it back to you, and that will kill you in one hit, so keep that in mind. Now that we've covered all the villagers' options and moves, we're basically going to go into our combo part of the video. I've taken liberty basically figuring out a couple combos and like basically learning some other ones, and hopefully you guys can get these. I don't feel like these are too difficult. One or two might be a little more difficult than others, but you really shouldn't have much problem with it. So this one is basically what I consider one of our villagers' bread and butters. It works anywhere from 0 to 75% and can kill rather early if your opponent doesn't have the best recovery. So the easiest way to do this is to grab your opponent, throw them down, and follow up with as many of his forward aerials as you possibly can. Now the cool thing about this is you can actually implement Lloyd Rocket into this to go first, add shield pressure. They will naturally shield because they see it coming, or they'll spot dodge, and then you can follow up with as many as you want. I believe at max you can probably get about 5, but if you've got more, feel free to tell me or tell me in the comments or something like that. But it shouldn't be very difficult to get at least 5. I'm gonna try it one more time so you guys can see. The easiest way to do this is to stay as slow as, the easiest way to do this is to stay as close as possible with villagers to ensure that you actually get the combo counter though. The next thing we're going to talk about is one of kind of his cooler kill combos. If you get this on somebody in tournament or just with your friends, there might be a little bit of a pop off because I'm definitely impressed. When I figured this out, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of a neat trick, but there's 2 different ways to do it. We're going to talk about what I consider the harder way, I guess. Now you do need to have your opponent a little bit higher percent. I believe this is a true combo from anywhere from 80 to 100%, but for the sake of this, let's put it at 90 just to test. You will need to have the axe out, so you need the tree. You can have them on the edge or near the edge or just anywhere you want really, but you're basically going to hopefully do a falling forward air, if I can do it, into axe. And as you can see, it is true, and it does kill. However, if you do not want to do that, maybe you aren't a fan of trying to do falling up airs, you can always hope to get a spike and follow it up with your axe. So you can do a down air and follow up with that. And while it didn't say it was true, I guess I didn't hit the timing right on it, but normally that is a true combo. Let me see if I can do it one more time. There we go. And that was very close to killing, but easy 32 damage. And as I said before, it is true from anywhere from usually 80 to 100. If you go a little bit over 100, I believe it is still possible, but it is a little bit harder because your opponent's knockback is just a little bit too much for Villager to handle. So we're going to go all the way back to 0% and cover our third combo, which is just a basic thing, one of these easier ones. It's basically going from fair or back air, depending on which one you do, to forward tilt or dash attack. It's just an easy, usually 20 damage. So if your opponent's at 0 and you're trying to kind of space them out, or you're trying to get in on them, or win neutral even, you can basically run up, pop, and then do a dash attack. Let me try that one more time. Or a forward tilt. Come on, you can do this. Ah. There we go. There it was. There's your forward tilt. Easy 17. Nothing too crazy. And I believe it also works with back air because I've tested this already. You just gotta get in close. You just gotta get in close, Villager. Well, just take my word for it, guys. And then you can also do your dash attack if you're fast enough. But I don't know if I'll be able to do it in this video because I'm already messing up. But anyway, your forward air or back air to your F tilt or to your running dash attack, basically. There's a lot more better things you could do at 0, but that's just another option in my opinion. But I wouldn't do that one too often. Now this next one I think is really, really cool because it pretty much takes your opponent anywhere from 6% to around 60, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. Usually it's hard to rack up damage that quickly, but fortunately Villager can do that. So let's put our opponent at 6, because when you have your opponent at 6%, you're actually able to force the tech chase scenario. And we're going to have our Samus launch a ball at us, or any projectile would actually work, but for the sake of this video we chose Samus. I'm going to turn that off really quick and get some spacing here. Hopefully Samus does not go off the edge. And what you're going to do is you're going to do a running forward air to jab lock with your jab. Just one will do just fine, and then you can throw your projectile that you have pocketed. So here we go. Let's go to shot. Easy 62. It doesn't read it as a combo, but the jab lock basically guarantees it. So don't worry if it doesn't read as a combo. It should, no matter what. And depending on if your opponent is at a higher percent, maybe if they're at 20 or something, it has potential to kill, especially if the projectile is much stronger. I don't know if this Samus did a full charge shot or not. I just know that she charged it a little bit. And the last of our 5 combos, I believe it's 5, is a down air to up tilt, and it basically works at 60 and it's true. Now this is just to basically add more damage when you can no longer juggle, but it shouldn't be very hard. I feel like anybody could do this one. Not really a kill option either, but it still works pretty well. So you're gonna do down air, or I believe it was up tilt. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a down air to up tilt or up air. So hopefully you get the 3 turnips for the most damage and the most knockback. Nope, that wasn't one of them. There we go. Up tilt, easy 28%. Or if you wanted to, you can do down air to up air, easy 28%. So that is it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, feel free to leave a like in the comment and comment below. And thank you guys so much for watching.